Hi, everybody. It is April 21st, Wednesday. Welcome to the Starch Lady and friends. So we're excited. We got 3 of us this morning, and hopefully some other people will join us. I was on a group earlier today, and the group might have some people joining us from that one, from the McDougall program. So I'm sitting in my reclining chair, not because I'm lazy, but because I totally dinked up my knee this week. And I had on my cute shoes. You know, you lose weight, you start wearing cutesy clothes. And I had on my sexy new boots, and they got a heel about this high on them. And one of my friends, Marie, we went to lunch, and she followed me home to get a twig off of one of my plants. And so I wanted to hurry and change clothes so I could go in the backyard, because I didn't want to wear my heels into the grass because it was a little wet. And so instead of just taking my shoe off, sitting on, something like a normal person, I thought I would do it all standing up really fast. Well, they were really tall shoes. And so instead of reaching it up and doing like a 45-degree angle and pulling off my boot, I yanked the heel up 90 degrees and torqued my knee, something incredible. I've been to the chiropractor twice. So I'm sitting here in my reclining chair with my foot up, and it's packed in ice. So I have one of those Cryomac ice packs from CVS. It's the only one that I really recommend, because they have these little circles, and it's like 2 different kinds of fluids, but whatever it is, it keeps cold for about 8 hours. And you can put it on for lengthy amounts of time without burning your skin. But I'm moving around because I've got this stupid thing sitting on my lap, and I can't get the right angle. So anyway, so let's get started. Up in the corner here with Mama Gina. What you munching on there, girlfriend?
I am eating my latest addiction, salad with the Noochy potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
And I made the Noochy potatoes a little different this time. So if anybody on the page knows, I post about them a lot. And people have asked how to make them, but I take the steamed gold potatoes and I put them in the fridge so they build up resistant starch, and I pull them out usually the next day, but as long as it's 6 hours, it's fine. And I slice them up in quarters or eighths, and then I put them in like a Tupperware container with a lid, and I add usually 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast, and then I just kind of sprinkle in onion powder, black pepper, and this time I did parsley and dill.
Ooh, how was that?
They're good. They're really good, and they're coated pretty well. Let's see that. But so you put the lid on, you shake it up really good, and then you pour it into your air fryer basket, and I do 400 degrees for about 13 minutes, and they come out perfect. And I just put them on top of my salad, and they're great.
Awesome. I tried them last night. I posted it, and I posted on the bottom one of yours. Yeah. And I did the garlic powder, onion powder, the nutritional yeast, and I put it in a Ziploc bag, and I shook it up and down like the old shake and bake, back in the day. And they turned out great. Now, I don't know, the extra spices that are in there?
Yeah.
The spices. And so I just left it in the bag and stuck it in the fridge. I figured I could use it again tomorrow. So yeah. I don't know. I mean, they're going to be a little bit moist, but I thought I'd give it a try. So I'm going to try it again later today. I'm just going to have to try it again later today to see if it worked, right? Yeah. But Hubby Pants liked it, which is great, because he wanted to know what I did to him. He thought I was going to when I said I was going to make him fries, he thought I was going to do the mandolin and do the super thin sliced potato chip. And that would work also, putting the potato chips in there and coating them and put them in the fryer. So that's cool. All right, good. Well, that'll help explain it. And I'll put in the notes today that if people want to, hear the verbal way of how to make these potatoes that we're obsessing over, to watch this episode so they can see that. I'll put that in the notes. I'm trying to keep track of what we're talking about. Usually Beth's on here and she keeps track for me, but I haven't seen Beth on for a couple of weeks. She's got her grandson that she's watching now while her daughter's at work and stuff. So she's been doing some fun things with him. So anyways, but okay, cool. Anything new and exciting? Any you know, phenomenal things? I think your post this week, let's talk about your dad and how you've gotten some meal prep going on for him. How's that going?
Really good. I'm excited about it. I'm really hopeful that he sticks with it long enough that he sees enough results that he's like, oh wow, I need to do this forever. But you know, you can't control what someone else is going to do. But at least he came to me and he asked me, you know, for advice on food. I sent him a copy of the starch solution. He got it last Friday. He's already finished it. He has been to the grocery store. He's bought, like, he wanted some kind of bread because my dad loves bread. And he bought a baguette that just had yeast, salt, flour, water, basically. And he was eating on that. And he came over yesterday and he picked up some meals that I prepped for him. And he called me last night and said that he really loved the Asian sauce that I put on one of the dishes. And he wanted to know what it was. So I told him, and he's like, it tastes just like Panda Express. And I'm like, okay, that's great. So yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. He's asking about
awesome.
stuff, so.
Now, is your husband doing this with you at all?
No.
No? Okay.
So he's the next one to pull over.
Yeah.
Little by little. He had some really bad gout about a month and a half ago, and he did all potatoes for 3 days and it went away. But he's going back to old habits.
Yeah.
And you know, that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Some people, it takes them a long time to learn.
The meat and dairy is, I think it's an actual addiction. I mean, the meat and dairy is so common in our life. And like I said, at what point did somebody tell us that we had to eat meat twice for breakfast, bacon and eggs? We had to have at least a turkey or a ham sandwich. We had to have at lunch, we had to have at least meatloaf or pork chops or steak or chicken or fish or something for dinner. When did we get told we had to have that much meat in our life, plus a glass of milk with every meal and in between? You know, and I just keep going back to that YouTube video of Dr. McDougall's. You can research Dr. McDougall and autoimmune disease, and he will explain to you that, you know, when the medical doctor tells you that you have an autoimmune disease, which they will tell you is your body attacking itself, it's not attacking you, it's attacking these foreign animal proteins that have gotten into your tissues and organs. And those white blood cells, those immune cells, are trying to do their job by removing things that don't belong. That's the whole job of the white blood cells, is to be like those little rover vacuum cleaners and going in and out and up and over and in and out, trying to clean up and gather some of the stuff that doesn't belong in your blood to keep you safe. And so if it's trying to get into those tissues and organs and try to, you know, pull the blood as it's circulating through the tissue and organs, and it's trying to pull those proteins out, and your body's trying to attack those proteins that have gotten into your tissues and organs. I mean, that's what's really happening. And once you kind of get that kind of visual in your head, and you're like going, oh, this glass of milk is going to get stuck in a tissue and my body's going to want to try to get it out, that might not be such a great idea, you know? So, I mean, it's just something to think about. But I know Dr. McDougall likes to talk a lot about hot dogs and how hot dogs are everything, you know, including the animals, you know, entrails and nasties, and that is a huge contributor to, he believes, and you know, Dr. McDougall, he never says anything without telling you which journal and, you know, research he has to back it up. And he talks about how hot dogs is a really huge contributor to thyroid disease, and how many of us, not knowing any better, thought that when our kids could pinch 2 fingers together, it was, you know, goldfish crackers and chunks of hot dogs on their high chair tray. You know what I mean? So education is key. We have to be able to tell as many people as we can. Sometimes they won't listen. You know, I've had people not want to talk to me. I was talking to a lady on Facebook today, and she's an old friend, and she's moved away from San Antonio at this point, but she, she just does not want to listen. She says, what works for you works for you. What works for me works for me. And she just wonders why year after year she's not getting better and not losing the weight that she wants to lose. And it's just like a constant thing. And having these last, I think it's been 10 months now. I'm trying to think, 'cause this is April, May, June. So yeah, I'm at 10 months in now, and how much better I feel, it blows my mind. And I just want to tell everybody about that. And having the weight come off after so many years of a plateau, it's just, it's mind blowing. So patience, we just got to love them, set the example. It's taken 13 years for my husband to catch on, and it took another crisis, another health crisis for him to be able to jump on that bandwagon. So, and we did go out for his steak this week. Our son went with us and he got a small 6-ounce steak, and he was totally satisfied with that, with vegetables. My husband got his giant T-bone as usual, but he only ordered vegetables to go with it. He didn't get the baked potato and stuff this time. So baby steps,
Yep.
We'll see, but he's losing weight. He's down to 3630 pants. And he's blown away that he's down that small again, because he's been wearing 44s earlier this last year. So he's enjoying that part. So the people at work are starting to notice and compliment him, and that's huge. And I ran into some clients again this week that hadn't seen me for a while, and they're like, "Whoa, look at you!" And that's really motivating when people because we get so used to seeing ourselves in the mirror, we wonder from day to day if there's any difference going on. But I think there's a lot of inches and body shape shifting going around more than even just the weight loss on the scale. So I'm anxious for the scale to catch up with the visual that I have. And this loose skin, oh my goodness. I mean, do I have to save up my pennies to go get that removed? Is that going to go away? I mean, come on. It's like, it looks like crepe paper. And so the downside is the loose skin. I'm starting to look like a Shar-Pei puppy. So I have to move more, but I dinked up my knee, so that's not happening this week, but I will try to do what I can.
Go sit in that sauna you love.
Yes, I'm going to drive myself. Well, I have a sauna down the hall. I should just go sit my butt in my own sauna, but because I can't do the exercises at the gym right now anyways, but I could go in there and lay in there, and that would be nice. I can't lay in mine. So, but I could go and lay in the sauna at the gym and take a nap. So, okay. All right. Sam, what's going on over in your neck of the woods?
I am doing a, what's that called? Spaghetti squash.
Look how thin you are.
Oh.
Your pants are baggy.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And these are 12s. Well, that doesn't mean anything to y'all, because I have always been like, my girls who weigh 40 pounds more than me wear size 8, and I go, I don't get it. What the heck? So I've always worn bigger sizes. I guess if I wanted to, I could put on a size 10, but I don't like tight things. So I'm, not going to do that. But I do have my, my belt that I don't have on right now because I haven't finished dressing yet, but it's on the very last hole. So I like that. I don't like that I have to go buy a new one. But
the downside of getting beautiful, we have to buy new clothes. So
yeah, but it's okay. But the no pain is where I'm at, and I get so frustrated that it's simple, what you were just saying. It's simple, the fact that your husband had that gout issue, and not you, Rosemary, but Gina, and he didn't go, oh, it took me once, and it's like, oh, I ain't stopping this again. I'm going, this is my life now. You know?
Yeah, he has pain so bad that he pretty much just walks to the bathroom, and sometimes he has to take off work a day and stuff because he can't do anything because it's either in his toe or his ankle. And his father had gout so bad and had it for like 6 or 8 weeks straight that it deteriorated the joint in his large toe, and he had to have it amputated. I'm like, do you want what happened to your dad to happen to you? I mean, he was like 60 something when it happened. You're only 45. So I don't know. I do what I can, but
Well, my mom, who probably will never watch this, so I'm going to say it. Well, she's going to be 80, so there's a difference, but she has gout, and she had a gout episode recently. And anyway, after all X-rays and MRIs and things like that, she has no cartilage or whatever between, and it's like, but she says, oh, well, eating is not going to change anything because, there's no cartilage. And it's like, but I'm pretty sure eating would change it, eating this way would change it. But she's still stuck on she's diabetic, and therefore she can't have potatoes or, whatever. And it just.
I hear that from other people in our family a lot, or people go, I'm worried about you getting diabetes because your grandpa had it. And I see you eating all these potatoes. And I'm like, well, my blood sugar is better than it ever was. I mean, I never had diabetes anyways, but I'm not worried about diabetes now at all.
Exactly. That's the thing. Yeah.
Well, and you talk about the starch resistance again when you let the potatoes get cold again. We talked about that a little bit last week, but you mentioned it in one of your posts earlier this week too, with your French fries and stuff. So talk about that for a second, in case somebody that does have gout is listening to this and they can hear why we do what we do.
Okay, the best way I can explain it, now you can look it up and you'll get a better definition, I'm sure. But when you have a resistant starch buildup, it's lower on the glycemic index, and it doesn't spike your blood sugar as severely. It's more of like a gradual rise, which is what your body is supposed to do when you eat. So
you actually feel full longer. So when we take the cold potatoes out of the fridge and we turn those into mashed potatoes, it's like I'm stuffed, and I stay stuffed for a long time. Versus if I make a baked potato and I eat it, I can actually feel hungry later because it just went with such a quick energy, so there's a huge thing to that. Let me share my screen with you. I want you to show you what uric acid crystals look like in a gout type situation. Let me show you this. I don't know if I've shown you this before. If I can find
I don't think you have.
I haven't shown you that. Okay, let me find it. I can never find which one of my folders. It should say blood samples. Let me go over here to the folder and see if I can find it this way. Desktop. And I have to keep moving you guys from side to side because it gets in the way. Okay, blood types. All right, so then we want to go down here. And if you were to go into the live crystals, let's go here first to the orange and yellow ones. These here is representative of animal proteins that are left inside the blood. Let me see if I can, let me find something else for you. Hold on a second. It'll be a little bit easier. If I go over here, it might be able to show it a little better. I started out trying to do a 10-minute presentation for a talk that I was doing yesterday for a group, and I didn't get through it. It's still going to be about 30 minutes, I think. So let's see, go over this way. Oh, there we go. Yep, right there. So where it is.
You kept saying milk And it's like, oh my gosh, I hate milk, but I love almond milk. And
Yes.
so now I'm going, oh, I have to drink some milk. Yummy.
So almond milk. Okay, so right here, you see these yellow crystals here? This is associated with rotting animal proteins, often seen in clients with clinically diagnosed symptoms of gout, arthritis, and inflammation. I mean, yellow is my favorite color unless I'm looking at it in the blood. It does not belong there. And then you get these little shards, looks like glass. It's so much like glass. Look, you can see the blood cells underneath it. Do you see that? You can almost see through it like a magnifying glass. So glass-like shards are uric acid caused by severe dehydration and diets high in animal proteins and byproducts. That's what your blood starts looking like when you've got gout issues going on. Does that sound like any fun at all? You know? And
Could
then,
you post this picture in the group? Because
Yeah,
it's
I
very
will.
hard to see.
Oh, you can't see it? Is
I
it
can see
smaller?
it, but it's very small.
Let me see if I can make it bigger.
That's a little better.
So there's the yellow crystals, and here's the uric acid crystals. Looks like glass. All right. And they go through your body just like that as well. But I'll post this in the group. And then, for example, this one here is the bluish. Is that how you spell bluish? That looks really funny. Bluish green, turquoise, caused by dairy. All this green stuff here is undigested animal dairy. That is, it could be milk, it could have been cheese that is just stuck in the blood. And you notice how you don't see any individual cells on this one. They're just all kind of like running together right here. There's no individual cells. That is caused by somebody who's drinking energy drinks, and coffee will do that. It just like it burns the negative polarity of the cells and causes them to just kind of blurp and meld together. Or how about this, these black crystals here? These are little shards of leftover, undigested protein, animal protein, just floating through the blood. That's just vile. Over here, we had sugar damage caused from soda. This client, my son, in fact, at the Naval Academy living on Mountain Dew, this was his blood with the little spikes all over the cells. Now, what familiar about that do you see? When you see these cells with these little spiky bumps on them, like little ninja star spikes, what in the news lately reminds you of that?
They look like virus.
They look like the spike proteins that they keep drawing pictures of and doing little models on the news to talk about. And it's really funny because why aren't they just showing us an actual cell, you know, an actual thing? And I don't think they can actually, the theory of what it's doing and what it looks like. But, you know, these little spikes that we've seen on the red blood cells for centuries, I mean, since the microscope was first invented, has always consistently been related to somebody who's got a high sugar or high acid type diet going on. These little black spots here are secondhand smoke in a 1-year-old 3 weeks after visiting grandma and grandpa. But her cells aren't that great either because they've already started her. See how they're all stuck together here? They're lined up. She's already got protein damage because they're already feeding her little chunks of hot dogs and goldfish crackers. Who knew? You know? So, I mean, these kind of things is why I do what I do. And I always like to go back to this one here. This was the 70-year-old woman who had been told she had 90 days left to live, was going into hospice, was clinically diagnosed with multiple myeloma, which is a protein cancer of the blood where there's excessive protein in the blood. Her live blood had just incredible amounts of crystals, mutations, little parasite, yeast, bacteria. The dry blood cells should be red with black lines, and this is so much white with no black. And it looks like if you get close enough to it, it looks like it's elevated and raised up like stucco on your wall. You see that? And here's her blood just 2 weeks later. Her live blood looks so much better than it did. And her dry blood looks so much better than it did. I mean, which would you rather have making your tissue and organs? The ones on the top or the one on the bottom? You know? Or like this gentleman here. And here's his blood when I first met him on October 7th, 2011. Here's his blood just 14 days later, excuse me, 7 days later on the 14th. You know, only one red blood cell can get in a cell at a time, your capillaries at a time, because you got arteries, veins, and capillaries. And, you know, which would you rather have carrying your oxygen from head to toe once every 3 minutes? Which one's going to do a better job? Or you've got this one here where the black little dots here, the protein linkage here, yeast and bacteria, the puddles of protein, puddles in the middle. And when I say polymerized protein puddle, remember polymerize is a derivative of the word plastic, polymers, you know? And so the protein and the gluten that does not break down for humans is going to turn into these little pockets of plastic, basically gooey, sticky. And now that gets into your weave, and now here's your tissue and organs with these little rotting pieces of protein. Well, what does meat do when you leave it on the counter? It rots. What does bread do when you leave it on the counter? It molds. So now you got these rotting, molding fragments of food, and that's building your tissue and organs? You know, it doesn't do that when you're doing plant-based, because here's proof. Here's what it looks like when you're not doing those things. Now, this was a microscopic error here in the background, but look how beautiful those cells are and how clean. Now, he needs a little bit more black in there for the black lines, but compared to what he was just 30 days before, that is huge comparative difference, right? So, I mean, there's just so much that people just don't realize. The sugar crystals that form around a dry sample, a live sample after it's dried, the crystals just kind of gather together like little diamonds. I mean, that's just crazy. But, you know, I don't need to see any of this in the blood. I shouldn't see any of this in the blood. And when we do, the only way to fix it is a plant dominant diet. And with now that we're adding in the sustainable starches, I'm seeing no difference whatsoever, because remember, I told you for all those years, like 12 years, I had been convinced that we could only eat vegetables, no starches, no meat. If it was white, tan, brown, or yellow, you couldn't eat it. And now that we're incorporating the starches these last 10 months, every client that I've got that's doing it, that I've seen their blood, the blood is still beautiful. It's still perfect. The bonus is that now they feel wonderful. They feel fantastic. They have the energy. They have the stamina to get through their day, and they're not tired and dragging and, quote, hungry all the time. So that's key. I went to show this one yesterday just to give you an example of this guy's blood when we first started working with him. And I'm going to see if I can get it to cascade for me here. But all of this blood is just, you know, some infection markers up there. There's just so much going on in this guy's blood. It doesn't take rocket scientists or, you know, degree or a degree like mine to see that red puffy inflammation there doesn't belong there. Those don't belong there. Liver markers, calcification. I mean, it looks like he's going to have a heart attack, like somebody just squoze the life out of it. So here's JB's blood 6 months later. Look at the improvement. Is that crazy or what? That his blood could be that much cleaner just 6 months after incorporating this way of eating. That's crazy, right? So at the top here, the top is before, and here's the bottom after. You can make that as big as you can see it there. Look at that, before and after, okay? And then here's his dry blood. There's the before at the top, and there's his after below. I mean, again, which would you rather have making your blood? Here's Max, my assistant, and Max wanted me to use his real name, JB as a pseudonym for that other one. But Max wanted me to show his blood and put his name on it because he's so excited about it. Now, he's only 17 years old, and I talk about him all the time. He's a competitive wrestler. He's brilliant. He graduates in May with a bachelor's degree in kinesiology from the University of Texas, San Antonio. He's my lab tech and my administrative assistant. But look at this. Here's his blood when we first did it on March 31st, and he's got those little ninja stars going, all those little spikes on all the little red blood cells, and his white blood cells are round. You can see those little white fuzzy ones on the left and the right of the screen. It's a little round and fuzzy. Those are the white blood cells, and they should be bigger. They should be moving, and they should not be round. They should be looking like little creepy crawler ghostbusters going after whatever's, you know, an issue. And so then his blood, this is, oh, and right here you can see, I don't know why my mouse isn't working while I'm on this, but you can see some about in the center of the screen that look like they're stretched and stuck together. They're already trying to link together. But look how bad that blood is. And then we get into his dry blood, and he's got all these white cracks, and these white cracks is proof that he's got such an acidic diet. And for him in particular, he was already starting to eat more plants and start to do the starch solution a little bit, but he didn't like water. So he'd been drinking bottles of store-bought juices, grape juice, apple juice, orange juice. And all of that is so acidic. And that's a good part of why these cells are so ninja starred like this. They're not linked together. They're still individual, but they are damaged from the acid and the sugar he was taking in. But to buffer the acids he's taking in, his body has to steal extra calcium and minerals from his bones and organs. And that's what those little track lines are there. See those little white lines, looks like spokes on a bicycle? That is showing that his body is having to pull in from his bones and organs minerals to buffer those acids in order to form his blood. That's too much. He's also got some yeast in the center there that's kind of darker. He's got little pinpoint holes in the center that looks like adrenal stresses. He's got some rubbed out areas on the outside edge. I mean, there's just so much going on here. And as we go through his different pictures, it doesn't get much better. So then here's Max's blood just 2 weeks later. Now watch this. Look, huge difference. That big thing in the center there is what we call a fibrous thallus. It's a city of garbage. It's like where I have literally filmed white blood cells going to die. So like a white blood cell meets its capacity, and I've actually filmed it where the white blood cell will come around one of these fibrous thallus clumps, and it'll scooch its way into it and just become part of it. And I thought, well, that's weird. Maybe it's just doing something. It'll take off in a minute. No, I've watched it for hours and hours and hours. And the blood will continue moving and stay live if it's properly hydrated for 5 to 7 hours. I've watched it for the entire length of time, and it never came back out of there. So it's like, I tell people that's where white blood cells go to die. So, but look how much improved his blood is. And he's so proud of it. I mean, this is like almost textbook perfect. Beautiful. And this has improved greatly. We don't have the huge giant lines. We've got some going up there, and some of the white puddles up there on the right hand upper corner there. He also has, I think there was a little bit of a shoulder injury or something going on for him. But his blood has improved so much from where it was. And so, I mean, you get the idea. This is one of Dr. Young's goodies here. I'm trying to figure out how to stop the screen share now. But I don't know, maybe that'll help if we can show that to a couple of the people that have the gout issues and stuff, and show them those yellow crystals that are caused from animal proteins and those shards of glass. I mean, that just gets into your tissue and it burns. It's painful. I actually was so embarrassed years and years ago. I just started into this, and I just had my first office. So I guess I started in 2009. So at some point I wasn't getting enough water. I wasn't drinking enough. I was eating right, but I wasn't doing enough water. And of course, I always talk about the alkaline antioxidant water and how important that is. And my middle finger on my left hand, I thought I broke it or sprained it or something. And I actually took myself to the emergency room because I thought I broke it. And they did all the x-rays, they did the whole shebang. And I was so embarrassed when they came in and told me that I had gout in my middle finger. I was embarrassed. I was mortified. And so as I went home, it's like, okay, idiot, you know how to fix this. What are you doing? And so I got my water on track again, and everything was fine. So yeah, you don't need to make that mistake more than once. I mean, pain, whoever wants to personally seek out and have pain in their life, you know? And so I totally get you, Sam. And it's like, I just wish we could fix the world. And I mean, our example is the only way we're going to be able to do it. They're going to want it for themselves.
I tell them all. I tell everybody, I cheat. I'm not going to lie about it and say I'm perfect, because I'm not. And when I say I cheat, I still eat my chocolate daily. I still eat a bite. Oh, John's eating what? Let me have a bite. Oh, Summer's eating, whoever's eating what? Let me have a bite. Daily, everything. It's not like I'm craving, oh my gosh, I need my chocolate fix. No, I have my chocolate fix every day. I don't eat it as much as I used to, instead of 3 cookies every night before bed, I eat 1 cookie every night before bed. But imagine how skinny I would
They call that progress, not perfection.
There you go.
Yeah, imagine how skinny I would be if I was not cheating, but I'm not in pain. So, you could still not be in pain and still have your normal, just not as much. It's crazy to me. It makes me so crazy that I have so many people in my life that are in constant pain, but they would rather post crap about their autoimmune diseases than post, oh, look, this crap actually works. Just eating differently.
Exactly. So I'm going to add this to our list of things we talked about today, and we're going to coin Gina as PNP, progress, not perfection. That's going to be one of our new slogans. Okay.
I did get that from Chelsea Mae Cullen. So
Oh, you did. Okay.
I don't know if she has it copywritten or not. But
okay. So we're going to look up Chelsea and see what the actual reference to that is. All right. So are you talking about Chelsea Mae?
yeah,
Girl from Australia or wherever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, New Zealand. All right. And there was something else I was going to show you. I don't know, my last post, let me see if I can screen it again here. One of my posts earlier today is I got another gift from, how do I stop this? How do I stop the slideshow? Hold on a second. Hold that pose as I go over here and I close this. And then I go over here and I go here. Go back. Sometimes when I share the screen, it doesn't come up with my stuff at the top. So where did it go? Let me share it, see if it works. Try it. Okay, we share screen. Go here. Okay, so we're on the Starch Lady. There's some more Tasha's meal. Look at that. Let's see here. Oh yeah, this was interesting. The buildup of GIC inside the pipes. What do we think it's doing inside of our bodies when we eat that kind of garbage? I like to use that illustration a lot. Pipes, and there's Gina. Let's see here. That looked yummy. Did we see where I posted that my little poop emojis today?
No.
Nobody saw that one?
No, I haven't seen it.
And I was just on recently, so I don't think
there's your meals for your dad.
that was yesterday before.
Yeah, those look great. Those look really great. Okay. Let me go over here to Instagram because I know I put it on there. Maybe I just haven't put it up on the group yet. So I got a new emoji I don't know if you can see it. Oh, it's not going to let you see it. Dang it. How do I see it? Maybe it's on. I'll post it later. But anyways, in my office on the top shelf behind my desk, I have this collection of poop emojis that clients send me and little notes. I've got, you can see it on the bottom right. You can see even some earrings. I've got some toilet paper, a little tiny roll of toilet paper here. I got a book, the Gas You Pass and Everybody Poops book. I mean, I keep getting these things. And so one of my clients sent me a card this week. Well, there's Caroline. Somebody sent me a card this week, and it was a Poop Happens card. And so I added that to my list, and I'll post it later, but I have it on here, but it didn't show the whole picture. So that's kind of crazy. But what it's talking about is, you know, everybody feels so much better. And once they start getting the right foods in there, and because we're eating so much fiber, everybody is feeling so much better because they're eliminating better. And so understanding how the blood is formed, and I've got it right here on the right-hand side, it says, understanding how blood is formed in the crypts of the small intestines, it is key that your diet provide healthy, nutrient-dense foods and plenty of healthy remineralized water to complete this critical task. Food must be chewed to a liquid state or blended in order to be properly absorbed. So it goes into a little bit more detail there, but that's just one of the other benefits that we're having, is being able to eliminate better, having better fiber. Did you guys see my post again about the POA, the flattened rice? Talk about some fiber going on there. Hello. So that's fun. Reconstituted spinach. Go ahead.
Mention any names, but somebody that has been eating this way is still constipated.
Really? Are they
what's the-
getting enough water?
Probably not, but
Especially if they're eating anything dry. If they're eating like the air fried, air pop popcorn, or anything that's more dense as far as less moisture in it, are going to have a little bit harder time as well, because your body has to take the fluids from you to rehydrate that food you just ate. It has to have a certain amount of moisture in order for it to break down. So like this spinach on top here is actually freeze-dried spinach, but I reconstitute it, a cup of spinach with a cup of water, and it makes this giant pile. And I usually drizzle like balsamic vinegar, the thick reduced balsamic vinegar, and I ate it. You can't see it, but that's kind of, you know, going to be a regular go-to because it's so darn quick. This is when I made it kind of Asian-y the other day. There's that, you can see how thick that balsamic vinegar is there. But
is rice or a potato better?
For digestion, potato always. If you were going for go-to, your potato is always going to be an easier digestion. Rice is always going to be harder. That's why I kind of like these, this poha, because it is already cooked, or it's already steamed and then flattened, just like when they make oats. Now, if you were to take oatmeal, an actual oat groat, you couldn't chew that. It's like a kernel of wheat, and it's so hard to break down. But by them steaming it, rolling it, and rehydrating it, you're like a step ahead. You're getting all the benefits without having to do the heavy lifting and hard work to get it there. So let me stop sharing this here. Carolyn joined us. Hi, Carolyn. You want to tell us about your weekday in food?
Well, I don't know. I'm still kind of doing the same thing, and actually, I think not eating after 7 is helping.
Yeah.
Because I have seen the scale go down a little bit more. So
there you go. There you
Yeah.
go. That's a huge difference. And we've been trying it this week because of my bum knee. We have eaten more of those Japanese ramen bowls, the noodle shop that we like to go to. And my son will tote me down to the ramen shop. And so we've had that too much this week, I would say. I mean, I like rice noodles, but there's a lot of rice noodles in there, and I haven't had the heart to throw any of them away. And, but it's, you know, vegetables, and I have a miso broth on mine, or a vegetable broth. And, but he gets home from school about 3:30 in the afternoon. And so he wants to go eat at like 4:30 or 5. And I'm like on it. It's like, I don't have to cook. You want to take me to get noodles? Let's go. But I'm still progressing because I'm not hungry and not eating again later. And I'm not getting food in after 7 o'clock. And so that was a really good pinky promise this week. Anybody else had any benefits and pluses from doing that this week? Did anybody else try to do that?
I normally try to do that. I try to usually have my last meal at 6:30, and I rarely get hungry again, and I go to bed around 10ish. So it's been working for me, and I lost another pound this week. So I don't know.
That's 4 sticks of butter. Been talking about that because I was like whining about my, half-pound loss. And then I remembered my mom from Weight Watchers back when I was a little girl. She'd drag me to these Weight Watcher meetings right next to the Baskin Robbins. And we get ice cream afterwards sometimes. But we go to Weight Watchers and she'd lose and gain the same quarter pound over and over again. And that quarter pound, they said in a meeting, and it just has stuck for 55 years. I just remember it like it was yesterday. So I'm going to be 60 this year. And they said that's the same size as a stick of butter. Now, where would you like to wear that stick of butter? On your chin, on your arms, on your waist? Where would you like to put that stick of butter? And it's not the same as rubbing it into you and having it be smooth everywhere, but where would you want to put that? So you got to picture that. So a half a pound is 2 sticks of butter. That's 1 on each cheek, So that's awesome. Real quick, before I forget, I was going to mention this last week and I forgot. So, I'm getting ready for my annual road trip that we do coast to coast, north to south, all the way through. We cover a good 9,000 to 10,000 miles. Last year was 9,000 miles on the train alone. We did 7 more on automobile and 4 more by plane. And so we're getting ready to do that again. And since I am going to be going through so many cities and states on the train, it is not a big deal to get off and then get back on again. So if anybody wants me to stop by, we are offering a discount on our alkaline antioxidant water system that I talk about all the time. I swear it's like 80% of the equation as far as being able to get the toxins out of the body, primarily because of the microclustering of the water. Regular blood cells are 7 micron in diameter and regular water is 20 microclusters. So it's like softballs hitting a chain link fence. Dairy is 45 microclusters. That's like a basketball hitting a chain link fence. It's not designed to get in there either. But we have designed this system to make the water only 5 microclusters. So that's like taking a handful of blueberries and it throws it right through the fence. So every cell is hydrated properly, acids are neutralized, and toxins are flushed. So Samantha has the water system. I live and swear by it. But if anybody wants one of those, we're giving a 20% discount. It's normally $1,495. And so 20% off is like $300 off. So it's like $1,100 and some change, I think. I'll have to do the math on it again, but I'll do a poster. I'll put it on there. If anybody wants to get on the schedule for that, I will be doing the dry blood when I'm there, if people are getting it. And I am going to try to do at least part of the urine. There's one particular chemical that I can't safely take on a road trip. It's too dangerous. And so when I did this last year, I was able to do everything except for that last one. And it's actually one of the most critical ones. So I'm not quite sure how to get around that. I'm going to see what I can come up with, because that last chemical is needed to know how much protein's in the urine. And that is such a key component of understanding of your health. So anyways, if anybody wants to do that, those tests are all free, because my water clients, I do that for my clients free twice. So they don't have to pay for any of that additional health consultations or testing or anything like that. So if anybody wants to get on that schedule, make sure you message me and we'll make it happen. Okay, watch for a flyer coming soon. All right.
Is there a discount on the ones that are to go with you, you know, the people that live in apartments and things like that?
Say that again.
Will there be a discount for the ones that are like the
Oh,
kitchen
the
one?
portable one? Yeah, the
Okay.
portable one that goes in the laundry room for apartments. Yes, all the alkaline systems are going to be on discount. They're the easiest for us to install on our road trips, but we do water softeners and whole house contaminant. We just need to plan that as well. If somebody wants that, I'm giving pretty much a 20% discount on anything that they want to get. So if you do already have a water softener and you want to get 116 toxins taken out of your bath, shower, and sinks, I am going to be offering that too. And what we're doing is about the month before our trip. So starting next month in May, we'll be shipping whatever equipment people need to them, and they'll just stick it aside until we get there. And as we come around on the train, we'll get our rental car, come install their stuff, go to the hotel, hang out for a little bit or whatever, and then go to the hotel, and then we get back on the train again the next day or whatever the next schedule is. So some of my clients like to play a little longer, and so we have a good time. This is really a fun time for us to hang out with friends. We did 4th of July with my friend Sandy in Wisconsin last year when we went up there. But I'm already going to be in Indiana, so I'm going to see Gina regardless. She's getting a stop by me, so I got to get the schedule on there because of the 2 towns that we go to already. So we'll get that figured out. Anyways, all right. So what else is going on? We got a little intimate group here today, so we got a little extra time. We've got about 10 minutes before the hour. Last week, we stayed on almost a whole 2 hours. We were having so much fun last week. So what else do you guys want to talk about? Any other questions that you have that I can help you with? Everybody's speechless? Let me think what else I was going to tell you about. Last week we talked about something we wanted to talk about this week, and I didn't write it down. And I didn't have time to go back and look at it because it was a 2-hour call. But I like the progress, not perfection, you know, but the more perfection we can get, the faster our progress will be. But the slow and steady, you know, if I'd lost this weight any faster, I'd hate to see how bad this really was, you know. But, you know, it's also motivation to keep moving and exercising because I'm wearing smaller clothes and little jackets that I couldn't even get my arms in before are fitting. So it's been kind of fun to go through the closet lately and pull out the things that are still beautiful, but they are definitely not my size anymore. So I don't want to keep them around and keep them there with that little safeguard. Oh, I can get back into that dress. Or like this one I'm wearing today. This dress is way too big for me, but it's a full length dress and it's adorable and it's so comfy. So I'm wearing it like a robe these days because it's modest and it's got a big gigundous pocket on it. I mean, like I could stick my arms to my elbows in this pocket. It's like the whole front of it is almost a pocket. But I'm, you know, keeping things like that to be loungy around the house, but I would not even think about wearing this out. And before I used to wear it with my high top black boots and heels, and I thought I looked pretty good, you know, but I don't want to go out like that now because I feel like I'm just, you know, wearing a tent because it's like 3 times, you know, I could actually fold it. If I were to show you, I could actually take the sides and fold it inward down here. So those are like little pluses. My husband was going through his clothes and he got rid of all of his 44s. And I said, please tell me you kept at least one. So he dug through and dug through and dug through the closet. And he finally found one that he had forgotten. And it was a size 44 that is designed for the largest person on the planet. You know, when they take the pant and then on the back, they put elastic so that it pulls in. So it like, you know, because they know their butt's sticking out. So this was a size 44 with the elastic in the back waist to pull it in over his bum. And so we're keeping that because I want him to eventually do a, you know, this is me and my old self, you know, pose. And he was playing in the mirror the other day. He was hilarious. So that was kind of fun. Having those things, keep something big, but move forward in your smaller progressions. And it's phenomenal to have that little, you know, I did it. I did that too, you know. So just Getting
I do
through
have a
the-
question for you, Dr. Rowe. Are you in Wonderland yet? I know you were close.
No, I have been fluctuating back and forth between the 209 and 211, 209, 211, 209, 211. And I just can't get into Wonderland. And so that was frustrating when I was talking to Tiffany, my hammer last week. And she, she reminded me and recalculated that in the time that I've been doing this, I have averaged more than a pound a month or a pound a week or on average. And so she said, stop beating yourself up over it, And so that was nice. That was nice to hear that, especially from her. So no, I can't get it. And then, get this. Okay. Remember the bum knee, right?
Yeah.
So I get the bum knee on Thursday, and Saturday we have to go to Houston. And so, or Saturday or Sunday, anyways, this weekend. So we were driving to Houston. When I drive, I swell. Even if I'm drinking water, I swell whenever I'm in a forward motion. Even on the train, I have to be very careful and get up and like every hour walk up and down the length of the train and over to the observation deck and everything like that. I can't just sit or I swell. And I swolled, is that a word? I swolled up on our trip to Houston. And by the time I got back, now I left you, mind you, at 209 pounds. I came back from Houston, wait for it, 221 pounds. I had swelled up with that much water. There is no way I ate 10 pounds of food. 10 pounds of worth of calories. That would be 35,000 calories. And we were good on the trip. We actually did pretty good. We had one thing that we shouldn't have had. When you try to get popcorn, for example, in those bags, they all have too much salt, too much fat, too much everything, except, oddly, the caramel corn. Because the caramel corn doesn't add any extra fat and stuff to it because it's coating it with sugar instead. So it's just the air popcorn and the sugar. And so we had gotten a bag at Buc-ee's of this caramel sugar coated popcorn, and we had some of that, but we shared the stupid bag. It was only this big. I mean, how much could I have possibly gotten out of a handful of caramel corn, But
So why do you think you swell so much?
it's something to do with forward motion. It wasn't, I can't understand it. It's something that's been a problem for me my whole life. And starting with probably the late 90s, I actually had a doctor prescribe for me the compression hoses, the compression socks. And I have them, and I'm supposed to wear them every time I travel. And they're the kind that you can't put your feet up. They're the kind of compression sock that it's designed to have your feet down, and they squeeze so hard that it pushes the blood back up again. And my knee was swollen, both knees, but the left one in particular, my ankles, they looked like elephant feet. It was horrible. And I'm still trying to get it down. Today, we're talking about this weekend, and my scale today was, wait for it, 213.6. So I'm still not back to the 209. It's taken me this long to get this water out of me, and I'm making sure that I'm, drinking at least half of this every 2 hours. I'm doing what I can. I just can't walk. I'm having trouble moving. But I didn't take the compression hose, and I got to make sure that I do that in the future. But they're the kind that if you were to have them on and you put your feet up and elevated it, you could actually cause problems because then it's too much push upward. They're designed to do that. So I don't know what the deal is, but I am not going to say the O word because I feel young. So I don't know. It started in the 90s. That was, a long time ago. So anyway, Sam, you wanted to say something right there?
I was gonna say, because you mentioned Buc-ee's. And,
Evil place.
Oh my gosh. But you know what's so weird is that we used to love the the Bucky, what the things that you're talking about.
Right.
But now when I go, I get the bean dip, because originally you said, oh, it's just beans. Well, we know it's not, but
Well, some of them are, but some of them, most of them are not. You do have to read it. They'll either have bacon grease or something in there.
yeah,
What does
well,
that
this
one
is
have?
really not that bad. It's beans, water, bell peppers, soybean oil, vinegar, salt, onion, garlic, and jalapeno pepper spices.
What's the
Uh,
fat on that one?
The fat, total fat, 1 gram.
And that's for how many tablespoons?
That is 1 serving, which is 2 tablespoons, which is 30 grams. It's 35 calories, 1 gram of fat.
And how many servings are they saying is in the container? Because I eat the whole thing.
Me too. Well, I share a little bit with, whoever. But there's 8 servings per container, which is not bad.
How many?
8.
Oh, 8. I thought you said 80. It's like, what?
8. But you know what I eat it with? The veggie.
Oh, now those are done with a little bit of oil too, aren't they? Because to me, they make my fingers slimy.
They are, but that's the very last thing. Well, okay, so it says ingredients are yellow sweet potatoes, purple sweet potatoes, squash, taro, I don't know what
Yeah,
that is,
taro. Mm-hmm.
carrot, green beans, and then it's hydrogenated
Hydrogenated.
canola oil, and tapioca starch, sea salt. That's it.
Yeah. So I did find this last trip, in the center aisle of Buc-ee's is that section that's cold and it has the cheese and the salamis and stuff, but they also have those cups of
Is Buc-ee's like a
vegetables.
grocery store?
Buc-ee's is like the biggest, the cleanest gas station you've ever seen. It's like going to a mall gas station, and they have gifts. I have actually driven to Buc-ee's, which is between here and Houston or between here and Austin. I drive like 80 miles either direction just to get gifts for people because they have the best gifts. And they have especially for a wedding, they've got all these Mr. and Mrs. things. What's that? It's a gas station. The gas station is so big, I want to say it has 100 pumps. It's that big. It's got like 100 pumps. And the gas station itself is probably 50,000 square feet. And they serve all this food and they have no place to sit because they want you in, grab your crap and go. And it's in, grab your crap and go. There is no place to sit. There's no picnic tables outside, nothing. And it is always packed. And all the truckers are there on one side and all the other cars are on the other side. I'll have to take a picture of it next time I'm there because it is freaking huge. But
Buc-ee's, love Buc-ee's. In fact, I have a new thing. Every time I go to Buc-ee's, I'm buying a Buc-ee's shirt for one of my kids. I always leave there $100 less in my pocket.
Yeah, we have a thing that I have a fun account and I get to do whatever I want with that fun money, we call it. It's written right on the card, Mom's Fun Money. And I either leave the wallet in the car and just go to the bathroom and get back in the car. Because if I go in there, I'm out $100 every single time.
Yeah.
And because the gifts are so cool. And this is the #1 bestseller of the entire place. They have at least 50 bathroom stalls with full doors. They're like a full little bathroom room. And they have a full-time staff in the bathroom keeping it spotless. You could sit on the bathroom floor and have a picnic. It is so clean. Okay. And so that's the #1 seller. Oh, you got your Buc-ee shirt?
Yeah, I got this one is for Destiny. I just bought it for Destiny. Saturday.
Y'all
and,
talk about this place like my friends talk about Target or something.
Oh, screw Target. Buc-ee's, that's the place to go. They got clothes, they got cute clothes, they got cookware, they have garden furniture, they have, you name it, they have it. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, so it's the best.
That's
And then
awesome.
we always go in and I take pictures of all the things that John can build with, old fence posts, not
Oh,
posts,
yeah.
picket. And I'll have to post about it where John made a welcome sign for my sister for her birthday. And another thing for another sister that, because he is just amazing. But
Yeah.
yeah.
He's
Buc-ee.
great. But
So-
Buc-ee's gives us great ideas, great ideas. So, yeah,
So
we're easily entertained here in Texas. Can you tell?
bad are these though, Rosie? Because I have, this is for one, and then I have the same thing twice. So how bad is these veggie chips?
To me, they're a lot of fat and they're also very hard. And so your body has to take in a lot of water from you to consume that. It's very, very calorically dense. You'd be better off getting those little cups that are in the center that are just the fresh vegetables cut up with the tomatoes.
I do I do the potato chips, the chips, the fried chips that are
Oh, that they have, yeah.
that they're
Yeah.
not a bag of chips, but it's a little container that they make right there. And I do that. I know they're fried in oil, but it's not that big of a deal, really.
It's not that big of a deal when you don't travel much, but you've been traveling a lot lately, and I do more traveling than the average bear too, but yeah, that can be a little stressful. The trigger at Buc-ee's, I will tell you this, Gina, the trigger at Buc-ee's is you walk in and they've got their own smoked sausage and their own pulled pork section, and they're making these sandwiches and slapping them out, and they have an entire section of fudge. It is a huge, it's like, do not touch, do not look, go pee, wash your hands, sanitize, grab your vegetable cup, grab your fruit cup, get your butt out of the door. That's about all I can do when I go there these days. So, but I'm going to be going up to Austin this week. I will purposely stop and do a video and give you a tour of Buc-ee's. Okay.
Yes, I want to see what this place looks like.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe
I'll give you
someday
the
I'll get to Texas, but who knows?
I'll give you the tour. Yeah, the next prize you win, you're going to say, "I want this from Buc-ee's. I saw it. It's on the second shelf at that one on the way to Austin."
When the pandemic first hit, we were working out of town, and we stopped at Buc-ee's, and it was such a freaky, scary thing. I was like, oh, it made me want to cry even today.
Nobody was there.
Nobody was there. And it was like, wow, this is scary. I was freaking out. But then
it's so busy. It's so busy. And they have these little signs saying 3 feet or 6 feet apart or whatever. There's too many people to even try that. It's just like,
well, now, but and then when the governor, a month ago or whatever, when he lifted our whatever, everything in Texas, that weekend I happened to be at Buc-ee's again, and it was like there was everybody and their grandmother there, and everybody was still wearing their mask, even though the mask ban had been lifted, and I'd already been fighting with people on my Facebook because our idiot governor and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, people are still going to wear the mask. Even if the governor says we don't have to, that doesn't mean he's saying we can't wear masks. Okay. Stop being an idiot, And so sure enough, there's 1 million people there, but everybody had on their mask. So
yeah, I noticed that the other day too.
Yeah, we all still wear our masks. So it's just, whatever.
What
So
does your shirt say? I've been trying to read that last word for 30 minutes now.
it says, believe there is, what, good?
Oh,
Is it?
good in the world. Okay.
It's be the good.
Oh, be the good. Oh, that's cute. That's
Different.
cute. I like
Uh,
that.
Believe, yeah. So, yeah, he made it, so.
Well, it's 111, magical 111. I love ones. We could have a whole conversation about how much I love ones, and when I see them, they make me smile. If you've ever studied anything about numerology, and I'm not that good at it, I just wondered one time, and I looked it up, and I said, why do I see ones all the time? It's like every time I look at the clock, it says, 9/11, which is my wedding anniversary before it was a disaster, and then I'll see like 111 like just now, or 11/11, and I do this like this morning. I took a screenshot of my phone because it said 11/11 when I went to look at my phone. It's like, why are these ones following me around everywhere I go? They're everywhere. And when you look it up, it'll tell you that ones represent angels, and like it's supposed to represent that there's somebody looking over you. And
I've always heard that it means you're on the right path.
yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
So, but I like I said, I haven't studied it a lot. I just know that they follow me everywhere. So when I looked down, I saw it was 111. I thought I'd mention that. But anyways, any other questions today?
See my one, it's red.
Why?
I don't know. It freaks my husband out though, because it's always just the one that's red.
Interesting. Is it in that position on your screensaver, or does it matter if it says like 21 at the end?
Oh, no, it's just the
Second position?
if it's one, if it's 11, the first one is red.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not going to touch that one.
Yeah, kind of weird. So
Yeah. All right. Well, let's hopefully that our family will get the hint about pain and gout, in the next coming weeks. I'll post that right now. I'll go in there right now and make a post about the uric acid videos and stuff like that. I'll post those pictures. Okay.
awesome.
All right. Any other questions? I'm thinking next week I might take you through that whole little presentation. It would take literally only 30 minutes. Anybody interested in seeing that? I've never videoed it before, so it could be kind of handy to go back and show other people later on, but I might do that and take about 30 minutes and go through that whole presentation about why we're sick and how we can prevent ourselves from being sick, if anybody's interested. Okay. All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Love you.
Right.
You're my people. Family. All right. Talk to you later.
Hider. Bye.
Bye.